Welcome to the Baltimore Breakdown Podcast, featuring your mother's favorite podcaster,
Don't touch that.
Ook, with Cakes Mitchell, baby.
What's up, guys? My name is Cakes Mitchell, and you are listening to the Baltimore Breakdown Podcast with my co-host, Ooks, better known as Ooker Dooker, better known as your grandmother's favorite podcaster.
Other favorite podcaster. Close. But, yeah, so recap. Ooks, you went to the game this week, right?
Yeah, dude, I went to the game with one of my buddies who's a Broncos fan. Saw Ray Lewis get his Hall of Fame ring.
Yeah, I saw that on TV. That looked cool, huh?
Yeah, and he did his squirrel dance intro, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, they had the Hot In Here music out there, I saw, from what I saw.
Yeah.
Looked like it was a good time, man. I wish I could have went.
All right, so for everyone that's a new listener, we don't want to confuse you any longer. Ooks is actually the other guy. I'm Cakes Mitchell. That's Ooks. He went to the game. How was it? You had really cool seats. Be able to see Ray Lewis do something like that was really cool. But it was like pouring down raining, so I bet that sucked.
Yeah, so there are pros and cons. First off, the day started off very horribly, not including the rain, because the Ravens' entire online ticket system went down. So anyone that had to get their tickets online, about probably 80% of people were having issues. You couldn't claim your tickets, things like that, and I was one of those people affected by that. So after, calling Ticketmaster customer service, Ravens ticket customer service, I was told just to go to the game and then try and deal with it at the gates, which was kind of scary to hear because, if I go out there and then I can't get in, like, what a waste and how annoying that would be. So I was a little bit nervous about that. But thankfully, my friend and I had planned to go there and get to the stadium 2 hours early. And because we were going to try and tailgate and have a little bit of fun before the game. Obviously, that didn't happen because of this whole fiasco, but luckily we did plan to do that. So if we didn't, we probably would have ended up not getting in on time. But after it was all said and done, we got in at about 12:30 after sitting through and having to wait and trying to verify our tickets, and none of the internet out there was working. The people that were operating the help stand, so to speak, as you were trying to get your tickets, they couldn't get any service at all. They were holding their tablets up to the sky.
Dang.
It was a disaster. I feel bad for the other people that were there, though, because there were other people that had gotten their tickets. They had bought them from someone or something like that.
Yeah.
And they actually weren't season ticket holders. So they had another layer or barrier, so to speak, they had to overcome to get their tickets. And I had heard one of the representatives at the Ravens actually tell them, you have to call who you got the tickets from. They're like, I did call the person that they told me to talk to you. And they're like, well, we can't do anything. We need you to call it. So it was just a disaster. I felt bad for people like that. But
I heard concession pricing's been down, though.
I think. I don't know if it was just because of the issue.
Your buddy said that he got boneless wing. No, I think it was a story running in the offseason that he got boneless wings and something else for $7.
So did I. Yeah, we both got the same thing. We got boneless chicken nuggets and fries for $7, which isn't terrible, really.
Yeah. Especially at a football game.
You go to a fast food restaurant and you get chicken tenders or chicken nuggets and fries, you're spending $3, $4, $5, if not maybe a little bit more, depending on what kind of fast food restaurant you go to. But I'm getting hungry thinking about it. But it was $7, yeah. Beer prices were still relatively the same. It was $7 for a 16-ounce beer. But so that happened. So that right off the bat was kind of a rough start to the day, and then not to mention the weather. It was disgusting out. It was raining. It was, cold at times, and we were just soaked the entire game. Right. I had gotten this yellow poncho I felt and looked like a doofus in, and it didn't really help. Everything got soaked. It was just one of those days where, it felt like everything was going to go wrong. Luckily, it didn't for me. For my friend, probably did.
He didn't have a poncho?
Well, he didn't buy a poncho.
How much for ponchos?
They were selling them for $10, but I'm a young negotiator, penny pincher. I negotiated them down to about I think $7 or $8 on that. I had to get some knocked off of that. I'm not paying full price for anything, but Yeah,
Was it
so
just random people selling them, or the?
yeah. The homeless. I don't. Maybe they're not homeless. I don't know. But the people that sell stuff outside of the stadium when you're coming in,
Got you.
they're hollering out for ponchos, $10. I was like, I got 8, or I was like, I got 7, or I got 8, and he's like, all right. I was like, yeah, you better take it. You better say all right. But yeah, so he didn't get a poncho because he had a hoodie and whatnot, but he got soaked. He had jeans on too, so jeans are not good when they get wet. At least my pants, when it would die down a little bit, or we went inside for halftime, mine would start to dry up a little bit. I was wearing khakis.
Yeah.
His did not. And then on top of that, he also had to witness his team get busted up by them Baltimore Ravens. So.
Yeah, and I just got a notification from the Ravens. We just signed right now Hornius.
This is breaking news.
Yeah. The center. I'm not sure.
Hornius Krasu. Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Hornius Krasu.
Started 12 games over the past 3 seasons for the Chicago Bears.
12 games over the past seasons. Wow. That is riveting.
Well, that speaks as underwhelming as we think our center right now, Matt Skura, is, because I think he's been playing awful.
Well, I did get a little kick out of when I was at the game and they were doing all the announcements of the offense coming out, and James Hurst came out and people were clapping. I was like, good thing Cakes M isn't here right now. He'd be booing.
Who was clapping?
The whole stadium. Like, ooh,
yeah, right, dude. People probably just don't know.
I don't think they know. I think they're just cheering just because there's a Raven.
I hate that man. I gotta give him credit where credit's due. He did okay against Von Miller. Granted, we threw a lot of
rain too. Probably helped.
And then we threw a lot of tight ends in next to him to help with him, but he didn't give up a sack to Von Miller. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty good. I still don't like him at all.
Yeah, but I mean, ultimately at the end of the day, we got the W, so it made all that sitting through the rain worth it. We got the win. I was able to leave there a happy man and be able to rip on our friend a little bit too about his Broncos sucking. So, all in all, good day for me. Good for me, I guess. What did you do this weekend?
Just watched the game at home. I just chilled out. This is one of my only weekends off. I got weddings throughout October, so I was supposed to be on my honeymoon this weekend. So otherwise, we wouldn't have this podcast. But this is my last weekend off until November. So I just chilled out a little bit, watched the game. That's about it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the game. Just recap it a little bit. What you liked, what you didn't like. Just overall, how do you think the Ravens did?
I like that they stayed committed to the run, even when it was doing very bad. The Denver Broncos' run defense was phenomenal. It was actually better than their pass defense, which was kind of surprising. Over the years, you think of the Broncos of the no-fly zone, not pass rushers out the yin-yang type thing. And so it was really surprising to see how stout their run defense was against Alex Collins, but more so our offensive line. Alex had nowhere to run. A lot of those plays, I'm just watching, the Broncos line is just blowing our line up off the ball.
A lot of the time we're running to the weak side, which usually Alex Collins doesn't do. And I noticed more times than not we were running to the left side. And I don't know if that's just because we had Ronnie Stanley and...
I think there was only 3 run plays where I was like that, where Alex actually had room. One is when they had the misdirection with Lamar Jackson out there. Yeah. So that kind of opened things up because they have to respect Lamar out there because we do involve him on a lot of things. Mm-hmm. And then there was 2 runs, I believe, in the third quarter or maybe the fourth quarter where he had a little bit of space and actually made use of it. When he had the space, he did well, but they were just they were just pushing through our line like it was no one's business really. I don't think he had in the past game. Our line held up pretty decent. I mean, against the Denver Broncos, I'll take that every time. If we can play that well against the Denver Broncos pass rush. But the run, we were just getting bullied off the ball, and I really think it showed. I don't hold Alex necessarily accountable for how his yards per carry average was, but I did like that we stayed committed to the run, even though they weren't blocking well or holding up or whether, because I think it opened up the pass. And I think that's why we're able to have some of the success that we did have in the pass game, because we were still running the ball even though they were stuffing the run.
Yeah, because you have to respect Alex Collins. So, people know what he's capable of.
They give, and because they have to crush the line like that, because if you give him that space, he's a good running back. He's a talented guy. So that's one of the first takeaways that I can think of that I saw in the game. I thought Joe played well. I'm not, by well, I don't mean that he played amazing or anything like that. He had some good throws. That throw to John Brown down the sideline was a good throw and catch. I'm really liking John Brown a lot. I think he's our best receiver by far. Crabtree had a couple drops, that I don't think he should have. I mean, granted, one of the float throws that Flacco made was behind him that he had to turn around for. You remember that one? That he didn't catch. But, I mean, you're getting paid what you're getting paid. You're in the NFL. You got to make that catch, especially if you believe that you're a number one receiver. He wasn't wearing gloves either. I don't know. Does he typically wear gloves?
No, I mean, Flacco didn't wear gloves either. I think.
No, Crabtree didn't.
Yeah, I know he didn't either. They were even speaking about that on the TV.
I found that weird. I feel like in a rain situation, you want all the help you can get, but I'm sure. I guess there was a reason for it, but. I mean, I guess you're a little bit more sympathetic to drops in the rain because, you are battling the elements, but you got to be able to overcome it, especially, when it's not a ridiculous catch. I mean, it was behind him, but I don't feel like it was just because a pass is behind you doesn't necessarily make it hard. There's a little bit more variables that go into determining whether a pass is a hard pass to catch. I think he just kind of had to lean back and grab it.
And 2 or 3 games that we've had against the Bills in this game have been in the pouring rain. Do you think that...
The Bills?
Yeah, the Bills game.
Oh, I thought you said 2 or 3 games we've had against the Bills. You mean
No,
2 or 3 games we've had this year?
This season.
Yeah.
Has been in the rain. Are you kind of giving Crabtree a pass on those? Because I think in the Bengals game he had a couple key catches, and I don't think he had, if any, drops. So do you think it is just the rain, or?
I don't know. I mean, it's still kind of early to see, but yeah, I like the throw that Joe made to John Brown. I like the throw that he made to the tight end over the middle that got us close to the goal line. That was pretty decent coverage, and he still, whipped that thing in there pretty well. So I thought overall he had a good game. Still has that problem of fumbling the football for some reason. He's got to get better at his awareness in the pocket and knowing when to cover that ball up because he got strip sacked again.
Flacco did?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
We recovered it, but he got strip sacked again. And that's now like the 3rd time this year in 3 games that he's gotten strip sacked. And those will lose you games down the road, especially down the stretch when you're playing better teams. And, if we do make it to the playoffs, he's got to figure out a way to do that. So that's something that's still a bit of a concern to me. But our defense, I don't know if our defense played well or the Broncos' offense was just bad. Kind of hard to figure out on that. Don't know what in the world was going on with our special teams.
Yeah, that was atrocious.
I think it kind of is going back to what I said with the way we were getting beat up on the line off the run. That was happening in the special teams department as well.
I mean, Tyus Bowser on that blocked punt just completely whiffed his man, and that's the reason the punt got blocked.
Yeah, I mean, so that can't happen. I mean, we're lucky that that punt, that one for a touchdown that Chris Harris took back, got called back. I mean, I think we still probably would have won, but just because their offense was so anemic, you can't have many of those happen and expect to win ball games. It's not most of the time. That's going to cost you bigly, as our president would say. That will bigly cost you. So I think we got to tune up the special teams. Hopefully that was just kind of a one-game fluke thing.
Which is weird because Harbaugh's a special teams guy, and usually have the best special teams in the NFL.
Shout out to Coach Harbaugh. Happy birthday! It was his birthday yesterday.
Nice
that was pretty cool to see at the stadium. That when they announced happy birthday and everyone showed him a lot of love and respect. I love John Harbaugh. He's one of my favorite coaches ever. Like I just love John Harbaugh. He is awesome.
The last time he had a win on his birthday was in 2012 on a Super Bowl run when Torrey Smith's brother died and we beat the Patriots by that field goal that barely went over.
So yeah, shout out to Coach Harbaugh for the birthday. Glad we got the win for him on his birthday. But so the special teams is one thing. The run blocking was another. That was something that stood out to me. Flacco did make some good throws, which I was happy about. As much as I may get on him, like at this point, it looks like we are riding with him for the season. It's starting to look like, unless things absolutely take a drastic shift, and I want us to win, so I want him to do well. And what?
It's just hard to believe you hearing that come out of your mouth.
What else? Our run defense worried me a little bit, but we also didn't have C.J. Mosley. So
and then once
getting that win, not having C.J. Mosley or Jimmy Smith is a big win. Because we had talked about last episode, I prefaced my pick by saying if C.J.'s out, I'm not necessarily confident that we'll win this game. So that's a really big win in my book, that we were able to not have C.J. or Jimmy Smith or some other small pieces in the game and still come out with the victory. And a pretty good victory considering that we had 2 blocks. Was it one that was down to the 1 yard line? And they scored on like the first play of the game. Remember that
they
first...
get batted to the 6, and then they just ran a draw play that scored a touchdown.
Yeah, untouched. It was Freeman who got in there on the like the third play of the third. We went 3 and out, so like 5th play of the game, 6th play of the game. They put 7 on the board. So I think that was a good sign, and the Bengals lost, so that was cool.
Yeah, that was
as I predicted last week. I needed to see the Bengals go in and beat Carolina to prove that they were a legit contender because, Stephen A. Smith and some people had the Bengals up on their power rankings, and I just wasn't buying it. I think the Bengals are a middle-of-the-road team, and I think they showed that losing to the Panthers there because the Panthers are a little bit better of a team. So I think Bengals are probably like anywhere from 10 to 15 in terms of like power rankings, which is I think where they should be. But very glad to see them lose a game. So we're still tied up 2-1. Hopefully the Steelers get blown out by Fitzmagic tonight.
Can't wait to watch that game.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think we overcame some mistakes that we definitely can't have moving forward. But I did like the way that we overcame those mistakes because it ended up being a pretty clean victory. Like, there wasn't many points where we're sitting there thinking that this game is in jeopardy, so to speak, besides right off the bat. But we kind of made that up.
And we
quickly.
gave them 7 points. So really the game was a lot farther away than the scoreboard.
I mean, you take those things away, that's a dominant victory if you take away those key blunders, which, if I'm confident Coach Harbaugh can probably clean that up. So, happy with the way things went. You come out with a win without CJ or Jimmy Smith. I think that's a good day in my book.
Yeah, I think we just need to survive these 4 games without Jimmy Smith. And now with CJ, hopefully he's back next week. But overall, I was really impressed with the Ravens. I think that our offense especially just looks fine-tuned, and it's something that we haven't really been accustomed to in Baltimore for a long time.
Had trouble running the ball yesterday, but
the
Broncos do have a very good run defense.
But it's nice to actually have like some receivers now that can catch the ball and make plays and get some receivers. I think John Brown obviously is our best receiver. Mark Andrews is a tight end. Is more so a receiver than an actual like a full tight end. He had that huge 40-yard play that you were talking about earlier, and I think Crabtree is our number 1 receiver. He definitely has the most targets throughout the season, and I think he will become the dominant number 1 receiver in games to come.
I think John Brown should be the number 1.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you there. I think he can definitely do a lot more stuff on the outside, but as an overall receiver, I think I like Crabtree a little bit more right now. Open to have my mind changed about that because John Brown does look super explosive. Even Willie Snead, although he didn't get involved a whole lot when he did make some key catches and some third down conversions and stuff, so that was nice to see.
Yeah, he had a couple nice grabs.
And I just think it's nice to see our offense moving, and they look like they know what they're doing. And like you said, I'm glad that we committed to the run, just to show that Collins is going to be something that people have to game plan for, and we're not just going to give up just because it's not working. And the people that we've played, like the Bengals and the Broncos, I mean, they both have pretty good defenses, especially against the run. So I'm not too worried about that. And our defense, I'm so shocked how well we performed without C.J. Mosley there, and just watching Kenny Young come in, a rookie 4th-round pick, and just hold his own. Did really well. And our pick 6 that got called back, which I think was bull butter.
Oh my god!
With the block in the back.
Case Keenum flopped on that play worse than an NBA player.
Yeah.
He didn't even push him. He just put his hand on his back in case acted like he got bulldozed over. Yeah.
But it was Matt Judon on the penalty. But he just has to know that you can't, in whatever circumstance,
you touch him.
You can't touch a quarterback. And especially someone in the back, which sucks.
I was so sick with that. I even looked over to our buddy. I was like, that was ridiculous. Case Keenum flopping like crazy.
So that sucked, but that would have put the game away right there.
I told our friend, I said, Case couldn't make a good throw on the play, so he figured he'd flop on the play to try and salvage something.
Yeah, at least he didn't get pick 6. So
yeah.
Overall, really happy with our performance. Again, I think that it was a lot more dominant of a performance than the scoreboard showed, but happy with this team and looking forward to going to next week, going into Pittsburgh on the Sunday night game.
Yeah. What else we got?
All right, so we're going to talk about our studs and our busts. So just pick one player you think performed really well this game, and one player that didn't perform so well that you wish did.
Performed really well. I feel like this has been kind of like a common theme. But maybe I'll change it up on this one. I think I'm going to give it to our offensive line for the pass protection. I think going against the Denver Broncos, that is a big win with the way that we were able to protect in the pass game.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there were a few sacks and some pressures, but I mean, you're going against one of the greatest pass rushers of all time, and Von Miller, and a couple other guys that are pretty good too. So I got to give it to them.
Yeah, for my stud, I'm going to give it to Kenny Young, the rookie, the linebacker that stepped in for C.J. Mosley. He led the team in tackles with 10. He was just all over the field, looking like a 2006 Ray Lewis out there. Not saying
Hold up.
He was flying around the field.
Don't be blasphemous now. Don't be blasphemous.
With Ray
now.
Lewis there, I think Ray gave Kenny Young his inner 2006 Ray Lewis.
What?
He looked good, man.
2006 Ray Lewis?
I'm being a little facetious.
Yeah.
But Kenny Young did.
A little.
Kenny Young looked great.
Very facetious.
And I think once CJ comes back, either this week or next week, Kenny Young did more than enough to solidify himself as a
If he's 2006 Ray Lewis, we're trading CJ Mosley. So
do you think if Kenny Young keeps playing the way that he did, do you think that we're even going to sign CJ to the long-term deal?
I think we should. I think we run a 3-4 scheme. Having two solid mid linebackers would be an excellent benefit to us.
But we could spend our money elsewhere. We could really tighten up that offensive line.
No, I don't think you let go of C.J. Mosley.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I just wanted to play devil's advocate there for a minute.
No.
And who's going to be your bust for this week?
Bust for the week. Can I give boom and bust to the offensive line for the
Sure.
for the run game, the run blocking? Again, you are going against the Broncos, but I mean, it's just a little bit perplexing if you're able to do that well against what the Broncos do, kind of the best in is pass rushing. Why could we not run block? Just the line in general. I think that probably applies to the special teams too, but I don't know. I mean, there might be different personnel out on there. Like you said, the one guy just completely whiffed the block, which is what caused the one punt. But or was it the punt or the kick that got blocked on that one? The punt. But yeah, the run blocking was very bad. Got to do better in that. You got to give Al. I mean, like I said, I counted maybe 3 plays where Alex actually had room to make something happen.
Yeah. And
you got to give him more opportunities than that if we expect to, be a contender down the road.
Yeah, I'm going to give our bust to the entire special teams unit. I mean, we just played a completely awful game. You can't give up 2 blocks in one game.
Yep.
Just bad. And there was no great returns either. So overall, it was just a subpar to bad performance by the special teams.
Yep.
All right, so next segment we got here is, should we be worried about the run game? Do you think the offensive line is a huge issue going forward? Do you think Alex Collins is an issue or Buck Allen? Where are you sitting on the run game right now going forward?
Yeah, I think we probably should be. I liked that we stayed committed to it this week, but we just can't seem to get it right. I mean, if we would have stayed committed to it this week like we did the last 2 weeks, I think it would have performed a lot better. But there's some underlying issue to where whatever the reason is, the week that we choose to commit to it, we can't block. The weeks that we don't commit to it, there are potential openings there. For some reason, it just can't seem to get quite right. So I am a little bit worried about it. It is still early. I'm not going to hit the panic button, so to speak, but worried, yeah, I am worried.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about it too. And because Alex Collins was such an explosive player last year, I don't know how much of the blame to put on him and how much to put on the offensive line. But I thought for sure this year with Mastrianda coming back into the mix that it would really, really help the run game. And it's just so weird. Even who's our tight end coach? I can't remember the guy's name that's supposed to become the new offensive coordinator. Can't remember his name. But he's supposed to help our run game a lot. And I don't know. It's just a little weird. Offensive line is playing piss poor in the run game aspect. And I just don't know if we should bring someone in, bring someone up.
We just signed Hafiz Gastrugas.
Oh, yes. I forgot about that.
Hafiz Gastrugas.
Hornis Grasu.
So that will, shouldn't even be worried anymore. Hornis Grasu will come and solve all of our problems.
But it just goes to show how James Hurst needs to sit on the bench. I hate him so much. I just don't understand why Orlando Brown is not playing. I know he's a rookie.
I don't understand why Buck Allen is in the goal line, or in at all for that matter. I mean, the one play where he reached out for the touchdown, that was good. I'll give it to him. But why are you in at the goal line when we have Alex Collins there? I don't understand.
I mean, he's taken 50% of the snaps, too. So it's not like he's touching the ball a little bit.
It's ridiculous.
And
it's absolutely ridiculous.
They're not giving him the ball the whole time that he's in the field, but he's definitely on the field half the time, which is pretty insulting, I think, to Alex Collins.
Yeah, it's completely insulting. Alex Collins is easily twice as good as Buck Allen. I would say easily.
Yeah, and it just sucks for Collins, like, grounding and pounding and getting those hard yards and then just not getting the credit for those touchdowns.
Yep.
And I don't know if the Ravens are just trying to keep him under wraps for maybe a long-term kind of a deal and not wanting to give him the credit of that because they know how good of a player he is. But I don't know, it just sucks. But yeah, I am definitely worried about the run game going forward.
Yep, me too.
So Mark Andrews is a tight end that had a not an incredible game, but a really good game. He had 2 catches, I think, for like 59 yards or 49 yards, something like that. Had the one big play up the middle. And has been performing pretty well the past couple of games. Do you think that Hayden Hurst's job is in trouble when he eventually comes back?
No. I think he played the Broncos this week, and the Broncos are one of the worst teams in the NFL in terms of giving up yardage and stuff to tight ends. Even our friend was talking to me about that. He was just like, I don't understand how there's an issue with covering the middle of the field in tight ends and you don't resolve it. Like, it's a consistent issue for them. So, based on that, I'm not going to really get too crazy on him on that. But, I mean, if he keeps it up, then maybe we'll have this talked. But I think based on playing the Bills when they were the worst team, I mean, somehow they turned it around this week. When they were playing like the worst team in the NFL, and then another game against, the Broncos, who are known to have one of the weaker defenses against tight ends, I'm not ready to crown him over Hayden Hurst at this point. Yeah,
I don't think that Hayden is going to lose his job, but I definitely think that he should be worried. I mean, when Flacco finds a rhythm with a tight end, he likes to go to that guy. If you look at someone like Dennis Pitta, you get kind of the same kind of esque feel with Mark Andrews, that he can be that blanket kind of a guy. And I think Hayden Hurst, coming off of an injury, he might not be in the best of shape because he hasn't been able to walk around. So if Hayden doesn't come off to a hot start, I think he definitely should be worried, at least for the next month or two, because I think Hayden is definitely a more superior tight end, is at least overall, than Mark Andrews, because Mark Andrews can't block to save his life. So he's on the field, it's definitely a passing play. But I think Hayden should be a little bit worried, at least for the foreseeable future.
You think that rhythm is going to continue against upper level teams? I mean, let's be real here. I mean, we played the Broncos, who are probably about a middle of the road team. Played the Bengals, that are a middle of the road team, and the Bills, who at the time we were playing them were definitely the worst team in the NFL. Whether that changes or not, we'll see. They did just beat the Vikings handily somehow. I have no idea how that happened, and of course it happens when I have Minnesota Vikings defense playing this week. So I think I have a layup, and I end up getting 2 points from my defense. So
yeah. Well, I think until Mark Andrews gives us a reason not to trust him, I don't see any reason why Hayden shouldn't be shaking his boots at least a little bit.
I think he needs to be proven a little bit more to take over a spot for our number one, one of our first round draft choices.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go in. Let's talk about the game. The Steelers obviously played tonight, so we don't know how that game's going to unfold yet.
Hopefully, a big ol' L for those boys. Fortnite dance.
L on the forehead. That would be great. So going into next week's game against the Steelers.
How awesome would it be? Fitzmagic just puts it,
drops
dagger.
7 tutties on him.
Dagger. Or just, at the end of the game, drives down the field, puts a dagger, and then just starts hitting them with the Fortnite dance.
If he did that, he would become
legendary.
I would buy his jersey.
Legendary.
I would buy his jersey if he does that.
If I'm his publicist or his PR person, I say, you put the dagger in the Steelers, you hit him with the Fortnite L dance.
I'm surprised no one has done that
yet. And you will be iconic.
Probably would get flagged for taunting, but I'm still surprised.
Worth it.
I'm surprised no one has done that yet.
The amount that it would do for his personal brand, every kid that's 13 years old or younger would become a Buccaneers fan and a fan of Ryan.
And you really have to have that certain kind of flavor to be able to pull off something like that and not be viewed as a villain. And I think Ryan Fitzpatrick is definitely one of those guys that can pull it off.
I think so. That would be Man, I'm just hoping that he goes in and opens one up on the Steelers this evening. I'm so looking forward to watch him watch Fitzmagic do his thing. I think it'll be fun.
So going into the Ravens-Steelers game next Sunday night on Sunday Night Football, what do you expect from that game? Obviously not knowing the result from tonight's game, but from the knowledge that you have right now, what do you expect out of that game?
It's weird. I think the Steelers are definitely the more talented team, but they are not winning. They tied the Browns, which the Browns are a talented team this year. And then they lost to the Chiefs. They almost came back and won that game, and the Chiefs are a very good team. And they're playing the Buccaneers tonight, who are a hot team. So they haven't necessarily had an easy road so far. So I'm not sure if I'm ready to jump on that bandwagon that the Steelers suck yet.
Yeah.
We always kind of split with the Steelers, so it's really, I think they're going to get up for that game. They play they play the Ravens, they're going to get up. They're going to be like, even if we suck, or if they believe they suck, we're not going to let these guys come in and get an easy win. We might let other teams beat us, but we're not going to just let this team beat us. You know what I mean? There's kind of a pride that comes along with not letting the Ravens get a win against you in that rivalry, and it goes the same for the Ravens. But I think in particular, since they're kind of reeling off these losses, I kind of see them bouncing back and getting this one on us, and then we'll probably get the one later in the year.
Yeah. It's going to be a tough game. I think that obviously the Ravens have momentum right now. They feel good about themselves, but it's in Pittsburgh, and it's a divisional game. It's Ravens-Steelers. It's one of the best rivalries in all of sports. Mm-hmm. And a game under the lights in Pittsburgh, I mean, I think it's just going to be another classic Ravens-Steelers game. I think it's going to come down to the wire. I think last year, the last game we had came down to 1 point, like 39-38 or something like that. It's just always a good game, and I don't know. I think it's a coin flip. I think it's really going to come down to the wire there, especially with their internal struggles with Le'Veon Bell on the trade block now, and Antonio Brown with whispers of wanting to be traded and then saying he doesn't want to be traded. I just think there's a lot of internal conflict that might cause distractions within the locker room.
Maybe, but I would say that if it wasn't against the Ravens, but rivalries like this one kind of put all that to the side, and everyone's like, all right, we got to go beat these guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's just going to be interesting. It's going to be a good game. I think it's going to come down the wire. I think it's going to be another classic game, but I think I probably have the Steelers sneaking out a win here too.
Especially since it's at home.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of it as well, but yeah. What else you got?
All right, let's just hop into our picks. I want to talk about one pick from last week. I picked the Lions over the Pats. They played last night. Just wanted to gloat about that a little bit.
You are a gloater.
If you look on NFLPickWatch.com, brings up all the picks of all the analysts. No one picked the Lions except for your boy Cakes Mitchell, who's leading the pack right now in our pick league. 28 picks right. Our buddy has 24, and Ukaduker has 22. So,
and if anyone out there that's listening picked the Buffalo Bills last week,
congratulations.
Put a comment in the YouTube thing, and I'll put from myself personally a cookie emoji reply to you and give you a cookie for that, because you deserve it. I have no idea how the Bills beat the Minnesota Vikings last week.
And just crushed them, too.
Decisively. I thought I was drunk at the game when I looked up at the scoreboard and saw that. I whispered to my friend, what parallel universe did we just get ported to where the Buffalo Bills are dominating the Minnesota Vikings?
All right, guys, let's move on to our picks. Thursday night, we have the Vikings at the LA Rams, and I'm going to take the Rams here. I just think they're a far superior team.
Yep, Rams.
Just look like
Rams are the best team in football right now, in my opinion.
They just look like the Super Bowl winner right now.
Yep.
All right, we got the Bills at the Packers. I'm not believing the hype train. I'm taking the Packers.
Yeah, I'm taking the Packers. They just lost to the Redskins, and they tied the Bears the week before.
Yeah.
So, no way the NFL referees let Aaron Rodgers go back-to-back weeks losing.
Yeah, Josh Allen has to do a little bit more for me to believe in him. All right, we got the Bengals at the Falcons. I'm taking the Falcons here.
Falcons look good. Did they win that? Did they win that game?
No, the Saints won.
That was a good game, though.
Yeah.
The Falcons' offense clicked. Matt Ryan had like 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, Calvin Ridley put up 3, which makes me super mad that we should have took him in the draft.
Makes me mad because I had Tevin Coleman, and Tevin Coleman couldn't. You know, they were handing out touchdowns to everyone. I was like, why can't he get 3 touchdowns? But anywho, I liked how both teams looked in that game. I think that was a classic NFC South rivalry dogfight.
And I was mad because I was watching the game on TV, and then they were like, and now we got to switch over to the 1 o'clock game that's about to start. And I was like, freaking out. But
that was the one game when I was sitting there at the stadium. I was like, man, I kind of wish I had a view of this game too. That looks like a great game.
Yeah. All right, we got the Lions at the Cowboys. I'm going to take the Cowboys here. I'm not buying into... I don't think the Lions are going to be red hot throughout the rest of the season, so I'm going to take the Cowboys.
I'm going to take the Lions. I don't think the Cowboys are that good. They proved it against the Seahawks, who aren't that great this year either, and the Seahawks beat them kind of decisively, in my opinion. I just don't think the Cowboys are that good this year.
All right, we got the Texans at the Colts. I'm going to take... Oof.
That's a tough one. Colts almost beat the Eagles.
Yeah. I'm probably just going to take the Colts here.
Where's it at?
In Indianapolis.
Okay, I'm going to take the Colts.
All right, we got the Dolphins at the Patriots. This is where I think the Pats bounce back.
Fins up, baby!
I don't think the Dolphins are real.
Did French text you again after they won again?
He FaceTimes me after every time.
Fins up, dude!
So who are you taking? Are you fins up right now?
I don't know. Where's it at?
It's in New England.
They're not losing 3, dude. Especially a divisional. I can't imagine that they are. I'll be truly shocked.
The Dolphins will be real to me if they beat the Patriots in New England.
Fins up will be for real if they go into New England.
Fins up, dude.
Fins up.
All right, we got the Jets at the Jags. I'm taking the Jags here.
Jags lost to the Titans.
Rough game.
But yeah, against the Jags defense, Sam Darnold is not going to have a good day.
I think the Jags going to have a heyday.
Where's it at, by the way?
It's in Jacksonville.
Yeah, not going to be a good day for Sam Darnold.
All right, we got the Eagles at the Titans.
I'm going Eagles.
Yeah, I'm going Eagles too.
I don't care where it is. I'm going Eagles.
Blaine Gabbert's hurt. Marriott is still hurt.
Wentz is back. This is his second week back, so he's going to start getting in rhythm.
All right, we got the Bucks at the Bears.
Ooh,
I guess it really depends.
Where's it at?
It's in Chicago. It really depends on tonight's game whether they still have the momentum. So we're using that pick.
Bears have looked good, man. I'm going to go with the Bears because the Bears have Khalil Mack. Fitzmagic's not going to be able to just chill back there and sling that thing.
I really like Fitzpatrick, but I don't know how far he can ride this little hype thing.
Well, not only that, that Bears defense has been vicious. He's not going to be able to just sling the ball back there. Khalil Mack is going to be in his face.
That's true. All right, we got the Browns at the Raiders. This is another weird game. I'm going to take the Raiders.
Raiders haven't won a game yet.
Where's
it at?
It's in Oakland. I'm taking the Raiders.
Raiders gotta win. I gotta take the Raiders. They gotta win one eventually.
Yeah.
And the team to win one against is the Browns. But wait a minute, is Baker? Did they announce? Is Baker the starter?
Baker is the starter. You switching your pick? I'm still gonna take the Raiders. I think Baker at start.
Put me in for the Browns.
Okay.
I believe in Baker, man. When he came in that game, you could tell it was something different. Everyone.
But it was also in Cleveland, so there's a really home that.
No, I'm saying not just that, but the teammates. His teammates look like they were more excited.
Yeah.
I think he brings a spark, man. And
if Baker beats the Raiders, I'll be worried about the Browns. But I just don't think it's going to happen. All right, we got the Seahawks at the Cardinals.
Cardinals
are
terrible.
Are atrocious.
Cardinals are one of the worst teams in football. Which I predicted, by the way. Pat on my shoulder for that. I predicted that David Johnson would do awful.
We got the Saints at the Giants. I'm taking the Saints here.
Giants won, didn't they? They beat the Texans, right?
Let me look up here. Yeah, they beat the Texans.
Yeah. And they're playing the Saints?
Yeah, in New York.
I'll take the Saints. Saints are too good.
Yeah, I think Drew Brees has a real shot this year.
The Giants looked good last week, so if it was against a more mediocre team, I think I probably would have took the Giants, but not against Drew Brees.
The only thing is their defense is a little suspect.
Yeah, they played well last week, though, against Deshaun. I mean, they gave up a lot of yards, but not a lot of points.
No, I was talking about the Saints.
Yeah, that too. And the Giants do have an electric offense, in terms, besides Eli. They've got skill weapons. Eli played well last week, man.
Yeah.
I mean, at one point I saw he was 12 for 14. That's very accurate.
Yeah. All right, we got the Niners at the Chargers. Just lost Jimmy G.
Yep, Niners just became one of the worst teams in football again. Going with the Chargers.
Especially in LA.
Before Jimmy G came last year, they hadn't won a game. I think they're going to be back to around that level of terrible.
All right, Ravens at Steelers. As I said earlier, I think the Steelers sneak it out.
We already went over that one, so yeah.
And Monday night game, we got the Chiefs at the Broncos.
Ooh, where's that?
It's in Denver.
I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
Chiefs.
I picked the Chiefs to get upset last week. I thought that they couldn't keep it going as good as they did, but they did. So
This is weird for me because
Chiefs are for real.
usually I think home teams, even if they're not as good on primetime games, play a little bit better. But I think the Chiefs are
Chiefs
a
are
much
for real.
better team. Yeah.
Chiefs are for real.
So I'm going to take the Chiefs as well. All right, guys. Well, that does us for this week of the Baltimore Breakdown.
Does
Thank you
us?
guys.
What does us?
Does it? Does us? Does it? For the
I don't
Baltimore
think that's
Breakdown.
correct. I don't think does us is correct.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it. Again, my name is Cakes Mitchell. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Cakes Mitchell. Leave me a tweet me, leave me some questions, and we'll answer them live on air. Or if you're on YouTube, leave a question in the comment section below, and we'll get to you next week.
And like and subscribe. Leave a 5-star rating.
And
all that good stuff.
Ring
Support us.
those bells.
Tell your friends.
All right, thank you guys. We're out.